So Bailey was a 19-year-old Appaloosa gelding who came to us from an owner that had had him for a very long time. Bailey had a history of chronic uveitis, which is an eye condition that can slowly but surely lead to blindness, partial blindness or full blindness. And in Bailey's case, he was just about totally blind. So he, when our vet assessed him when he got here, he was completely blind in his left side and could see a little bit kind of to forwards out of his right eye, but that was basically it.
Training-wise, a bit of a dangerous horse, and a horse that was completely blind in his left eye and had a small amount of percentage vision in his right eye, which made him even more dangerous. Well, the cute tilt of his head isn't cute. That's what he's trying to see. That's not normal. That tells you something's bad. Take him out of the pen with the other horse, and that tells you something's bad. You have to see him respond to his environment and then understand why he's responding the way he is. So occasionally I see these that just cannot deal with blindness. They're afraid, they're constantly afraid, and when they're afraid, of course they do what horses do when they're afraid. They bolt, they try to run, they try to get away. That's what horses are supposed to do. And that means that somebody's going to get run over.
He did bump into the edges of his pen, even though it was basically just a rectangle. It was pretty regular shape. So it was obvious to us that he was struggling with that disability, and so we wanted to take as much time as it was going to take to understand him and to be able to see, can you function as a blind horse, or are there is the blindness affecting your quality of life in ways aside from just being unsighted? And that took time. The other sort of piece of information that's valuable here is that our vet was vying and advocating for euthanasia basically on day one when the horse got here, because he recognized what a challenge he was to handle. He would get pushy and he would get frustrated, and things like that made him, our vet was very concerned that he would hurt somebody if we were to send him out into the world.
I just can't imagine taking a horse that's already a little afraid, not knowing where his environment is, and then pick him up, move him to someplace he's never been, take him in there blind. Doesn't seem like success to me.
So the 5 freedoms help guide us in assessing a horse's life from their perspective. Does this horse live in pain every day? And then there's some things that are just plain untreatable. How much pain does that cause? How much freedom do they have to live just like a horse?
Let's think about Bailey's whole picture. Here are these 5 freedoms, and it's not simply, is your horse in pain or not? Is it, can your horse live out in a pasture? Can he compete for food? Can he run? Can he play?
This message comes out when I'm working with my clients. And as we work and as we talk about their quality of life. And we talk about, is this an appropriate way to prolong their life? Is it appropriate to keep them where they are?
I think the other part of being able to make those choices is you shouldn't feel regret or remorse about it, even no matter how hard it is. When you have all of the right people surrounding you and you know that it's the right choice, even if it's the yucky choice, you have to just move forward and trust yourself and trust your team, choosing the right thing.
In general, I find most people are unwilling to think about it or talk about it and don't have much knowledge. It really is kind of a closeted, dark space that people don't want to go to. And yet we're all going to need to face that at some point. We've all got expiration dates. And maybe that's what makes it so difficult, is that it's a time when you can reflect on your own mortality, and it's difficult to reflect on that for your horse. They look so big, they look so powerful, they seem indestructible, and they are not. They're one of the most fragile creatures on the planet. And it doesn't take a lot for things to go from an everyday life to a less than good life, where the 5 freedoms just aren't available to them. 4 out of 5 aren't available to them.
I would say have a support system. Be willing to talk about it. It stinks. It's miserable, but be willing to talk about it with the people that you know are going to support you and care about you and help you through it. And listen to your vet. That would be kind of my other big piece. Is your vet may be telling you something you don't want to hear, but they're not going to even start to steer you toward that choice unless it's pretty darn apparent that euthanasia is the right choice.
And I wish with all my heart that people could face for themselves whatever it is that they're reluctant to acknowledge is going on with that horse. Get your vet's advice. Get a second opinion if you need to. But look at it from the horse's point of view, not from what you're going to lose, but from what you have to give to that horse. They can't get for themselves. Unless that human steps in for them, they may suffer. And I think we owe them more than that. If we love, do you love them enough to also let them go, not just keep them? Because that's easier for you.
And I'm pretty much over it. I hate it. Even when it needs to happen, I still hate it. I do. I have cried with more than one client. And I've had clients be angry, be sad, be absolutely not responsive, no emotion. There was probably emotion someplace else, but not when I was there. You see all those things. But there's a huge amount of relationship with my client that is what keeps me in practice after this many decades. So you have to be part of it clear to the end.
Love them enough to let them go, and let them go in a way that honors that time they spent with you.